What's up everyone, MK Tom Brady here. In this video we are talking about the death of MK1 right in front of our very eyes, barring some type of major change that is. And I think during the pre-launch hype, nobody thought we would be here 4 months into the game. Most people thought after MK11 was not well received by the community that MK1 would be much different. And unfortunately, MK1 is in a really bad place right now. I want to look at a few tweets here to start things off. Rewind tweets that it's a sad time to be a Mortal Kombat fan, and talks about the desyncs, the laggy unstable King of the Hills, the crossplay. MK11 had it in beta, never completed it, non-existent thus far. We know it's coming, but right now non-existent 4 months into MK1. There are missing game modes and constant silence from the devs. Whack Pro Tour, just really going in on a lot of this stuff here. Koizi tweets, not to be dramatic, but Mortal Kombat 1 is literally dying right in front of us. Then tweets, pack your bags everyone, we're moving to Tekken 8. And this was tweeted yesterday, one day before Chameleon gets released in MK1. There's no hype for it at all, like zero hype. Everyone's like, yeah, let's pack the bags. Scar having a little fun at the game's expense. Responding to Mighty Unjust, who says, can anyone recommend a good single-player game to play? Scar, sure, MK1. Basically making fun of the fact that a lot of people are leaving the game. And not to be, like, malicious, but, like, this is sad. Like, we all want this game to be great, and unfortunately, it is the way it is. Sikander says, your game is already on the brink of death within 4 months. You need a miracle to save it. I am absolutely embarrassed of being a Mortal Kombat fan right now. Then we have Sonic Fox, who says, I am hopeful that it is not too late for MK1 to get back on the right track. I know there are certain things that are completely Warner Brothers' fault and not necessarily NRS. So basically, there are things that are an NRS issue, but there are some things that Warner Brothers is kind of to blame for. Mainly the early release, like, NetherRealm doesn't get to say when their game comes out. That is Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers says game has to be ready to be done and shipped this date. NetherRealm has to have the game ready to be done and shipped on that date. And that's pretty much what happened with this game here. But there are some issues that NRS needs to change as well. So it's not all on Warner Brothers. The NRS still has a big hand in this. Fox continues with, again, this does not change the situation we're in. If not, I will drop the game. I've done this many times already. Goes on to say, I truly enjoy the game. In fact, I can't wait to go home and press more buttons with Omni-Man. But eventually that will wane. And then what? Dropped MK11 for the same reason. And this is true. MK11, we saw a lot of the top players completely drop the game, never want to play it because of just how bland and stale the game got. And this is, some video here. This is a set between Sonic and Kanimani, and this really shows just kind of like what Sonic is talking about here. You got Raiden with, full screen move into Kano Knife or Kano Ball, teleport into Kano Knife, Kano Ball, jumping into Kano Knife, Storm Cell into Kano Ball, into Jailed Pressure, Omni-Man with low hat into full screen move, hat behind it, or Hydra blockable with 2-2 or overhead. Full screen move. And that's pretty much, this is indicative of the game. Characters that are bound to a very simplistic play style that get very stale very, very quickly. You don't see the diversity in how characters play. You don't see there's no archetypes. Certain styles of character are heavily watered down for no reason at all. I guess we got to be safe, this is just not a good thing here. Another tweet by Sonic. This was during, I believe, the Tekken World Tour Finals, Tekken 7. Tekken is so sick, man. I really wish NRS had this level of communication and love the way other major fighters do. So if you watch the Tekken 8 presentation, it was awesome. And it was done in a way that you could tell it was talking to the audience that wants to play the game, wants to get better at the game, not just the casual audience. It was directed from a place of like a high-level play. If you watch like NetherRealm, what do? Combat Cast with a guy who says, by the way, we fixed Combat League so you can play a little bit more on your lunch break. That is what we get compared to what other games get. Like, just unbelievable. A few other things here to talk about before I kind of weigh in on my 2 cents here. We have Wonder Chef. I know Wonder Chef isn't like a TG player here, but he does commentate a lot of events. Brings up that Mortal Kombat at Combo Breaker says not seeing MK1 on the top 8 list, meaning it's not even in the top 8 games entered in the first year in what is usually is its biggest major. And this is also one of the only 2 NA Pro stops. So there is no more NA Pro stop after this. It's not even in the top 8 entrants. Says, I know there's still time, but damn, what an indicator of the state of the game. I really hope things get better for the game and NRS in general. And then we have Tekken Master, who says, registrations for MK1 is too low that it can't be in Combo Breaker's top 8 registration leaderboard. And he is not even surprised. It's not like, wow, what is this? You know, it's not in the top 8 registered games. No, it's not. And no one is surprised about this. I mean, look, you can basically look at the game, the match going on behind me. This is pretty much an Unga Bunga slugfest going on right here. Not all, but most of the game is this. This gets boring very, very quickly. You know, imagine you simplified the NFL to the point that teams were scoring 70 and 80 points a game regularly. Maybe in the first 2 weeks, people would say high pipe. By the end of the season, they would say the game is too watered down and it's too simplified, and people would lose interest. That's what's happening with MK1. Way too simplified. Again, on top of everything else, quality of life-wise, just in the gameplay itself, lack of creativity, lack of originality, characters way too simplistic, certain archetypes not in the game that every fighting game has, which adds to diversity of play between 2 characters instead of what we're watching here. Also, of course, a big issue is the online is terrible. Like, the online for MK1 is awful. That is a killer. It goes beyond these things. But overall, if you look at, if you look at the cast here, Raiden, Storm Cell, Armored Launcher, either stuff into Pressure into Goro, or, Johnny Cage is pretty much less simplistic than some of the other characters. He can use multiple cameos here. Kenshi, Sento in a sandwich situation, which is actually kind of creative, which would be okay if they knew to steroid buff the rest of the game. Like Kung Lao, what is he supposed to do here besides Armored Launcher? He's built around Armored Launcher. There's nothing else, and just, characters like Quan Chi and Sub-Zero, I got to put Reptile in there. Scorpion is built around Spear Spin. That's all he can do. There's no way to create. There's no way to innovate. The game is severely lacking right now. So it's at the worst possible state, because not only is the online bad, but the missing features are a huge issue, and the way the game plays is becoming a huge issue. It's becoming very stale. NRS needs to steroid buff their game. Not just the quality of life, but also the characters. That's the only thing that's going to save this game. This simplistic, watered-down play style is not going to cut it anymore. Other fighting games have really stepped up their game, and NRS has not been able to compete with them thus far. And, it says a lot when we're not even on the Combo Breaker top 8 registration leaderboard. That screams customer dissatisfaction. Now, for anyone who's going to say, but the money isn't there, let me just tell you the reality of the situation here. NRS, Warner Brothers, whoever, there was no love in MK11. So they substituted love with money. we're going to dump a ton of money into this game, and surely that will jumpstart our scene. But the problem is, money became the only reason. And when money was gone, you would think, see, when people love something, they do it anyway. You know, people don't travel out of state to go rock climbing because they're going to get paid for it. They do it because they love it. When you love something, you find a way to do it. Tournaments have been traveling. Look at Street Fighter. You have regionals with 300 and 400 people. That's not a pro stop. That's not a major tournament. You know, a regional with 300 and 400 people. Imagine that. You know, so when everyone talks about money, the love of the game was there long before the money was. Same thing with Tekken. Mortal Kombat, the love died in MK11, and NRS tried to substitute the love by dumping money into the game. And now that the game is on life support, money-wise, there's no love for the game anyway. Whenever there's love, you can always get corporate sponsorship to get a scene going. You know, MK9 had a pro league in MLG because the love of the game was there, right? We had ESL and MKX. The love of the game was there. There's no love here. There's no love at all. And it just seems like Warner Brothers doesn't love us. Obviously, they don't care about us. And there's really no love for the game because of the sad state the game is in. If Chameleon launches today and there is not a massive update for this game, character-wise, and we have to now know that we're going to sit around almost a month until the next DLC and hopefully they update the game then, I don't know this game is going to survive the next 30 days because it is on life support right now. And Tekken 8 coming out is not going to do it any favors. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. I do want this game to be good. I want this game to be great. We all want to love this game, but NRS makes it very, very hard. And Warner Brothers isn't doing anyone any favors either. Hopefully things change. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for more content.